Conversion tracking. Now, conversion tracking is a very important topic of any ad account. If you don't have conversion tracking in place, you really can't optimize the account. You won't know how many conversions are happening and then how your account is performing or behaving, in fact. So let's try to understand what is conversion first. So basically, conversion is a desired result for you, which you set up for any ad account or any website. So if you are running a website which is an e-commerce website, let's say in our case we have this website, springtails.shop, which is an e-commerce website. Now conversion is a sale for us. When somebody purchases the item, it becomes a conversion. For an inquiry-based website where people come to pull out the information, then they fill up the inquiry form, then the conversion could be when somebody fills the inquiry form. For a website where the desired result is generating a phone call, the conversion could be phone call. For another website, the conversion could be clicking on the WhatsApp button or maybe sending a message. So every website can have different conversions. In our case, we have conversion when somebody purchases any of these 4 or items available on the website. So now, once you have the conversion tracking in place, you can see how many conversions are happening over here, which means how many sales are happening. So, and then you can see which ad group is generating the sale. In fact, which keyword is generating the sale. If you have 10 campaigns over here, you can see how many conversions are coming from campaign 1, campaign 2, campaign 3, and then you really get to know about the account performance through the conversion tracking only. If you don't have a conversion tracking in place, trust me, there's no point in optimizing the campaign. You can't even do it. You can't just see anything if you don't have the conversion. So the first and foremost, the first important thing for any account is getting the clicks. However, what's the need of traffic if you can't generate conversions, if you can't generate sales? Unless your client is not really looking for sales, which just does not happen normally. So the first thing that we do after setting up of the account is to set up conversion tracking. You can maybe launch the campaign and then you can set up the conversion tracking, but I will always advise, even before launching the campaigns, try to set up the conversion tracking so you can see what exactly is happening, how many people are purchasing the items. Now people argue that we get to know when somebody purchases the item through the website, through the inquiry form, we get the email. But then even if that's the case, then you don't know which keyword has generated that inquiry or sale, which group or ad copy has generated the inquiry or sale. So you can't see the data within Google Ad account. If you do it for Facebook, then you set up a pixel on the website. We call it pixel tracking. Here we call it conversion tracking. Now let's see how do we integrate the conversion tracking. So you get into tools and settings, then you go to measurement and conversions. And from here, you have to generate a conversion action. You can simply click on the plus sign. You can, if you're generating for website, then choose the website link. So let's say we are generating it for springtails.shop, and I'm going to name it. I'm going to put the website link and click on scan. Now this allows us to check if we already have the conversion tracking or any sort of code on the website. And now we can simply create a conversion through choosing the option of purchase. Event type is load, and we have to define the URL. It's a purchase conversion and someone visits any page on this website, which we don't want. Now we really have to define the conversion. So as we already have the Google code on the website, we can simply define the conversion action from here, but we need to define it through a URL. Now, before we define it, you have to understand what is a conversion for us. Now, in our case, as I said, the conversion is when somebody purchases the item. So conversion happens when somebody reaches to a page after purchasing the item. We call it a thank you page. Now, thank you page is usually available for all the websites. If we don't have it, then we have to ask developer to configure this thank you page for us. Now, we simply check what is our thank you page. So when I get into this website, I simply click on first product, click on buy it now, and I'm trying to purchase this item. So I put in any random number or email ID. I click on shop and continue. And if you look closely at the top of the URL or top of the window, you have this URL having the checkout in the URL and having the shipping amount. And this is a dynamic number. And then I click to payment. Then I get to the payment page and I click on complete order. Now the order is in process, and now we have this thank you page. It can simply says thank you followed by my name, and you can see in the URL we have the thank you page link. So now this is a unique value. Thank you link normally comes or should only be coming when people are purchasing the items. If that's not the case, then you have to ask your developer to create a thank you page. Now, in our case, we can define the conversion action when page loads to, give me a second. So it's a purchase conversion when someone visits a page that starts with thank you. Now, that's not the case with us. The page does not start with thank you. I click on more settings, and then I define a value when URL contains thank you, and then I save it. So you can simply see, and I define a value as well. In our case, the value has to be in INR. Now, value means what is the value of each conversion? What is the value of each sale? Now, if I have 4 different products on the website, let's say I have these 4 products, I still know the average value of the 4 products, which is around 700 INR. So I can simply put 700, or I can skip this option and go with don't use a value. And I want to count this conversion for every action, and then I click on done. Now this is one way of doing it. If we already have conversion tracking in, if we already have the Google tag available on the website. Now let's say we don't have a Google tag. In that case, what we do, we again come back to the same conversion action maybe, or we create a new conversion action. In our case, I'm going with this one, the purchase action. And you can simply ask your developer to implement this code, which is the event snippet code, along with this Google tag on the thank you page. So you either define it through Google tag account itself if you already have this Google tag available on the pages. If not, you can share these 2 codes, Google tag and event snippet code, which is for purchase, with the developer, and ask developer to implement this thank you like purchase conversion code or event snippet code on the thank you page. Otherwise, you have 2 more options. You can in fact apply this conversion ID and this conversion label within Google Tag Manager. So if you get into Google Tag Manager, you go to tags. I'm just going to show you how to implement it using Google Tag Manager. And then you click on new. You choose it for conversion. So you type in search for conversion. And you have this Google Ads conversion tracking. You choose conversion tracking. You give it conversion ID. So in our case, we have this value as a conversion ID. So it goes over here. You give to conversion label. It goes over here. And this time, this code has to be triggered. In fact, we have to implement the conversion linker tag as well. So this is the conversion linker tag. Let me save the conversion linker first. Okay, it's saved. So before we implement conversion tracking, we have to save the conversion linker tag. We have just saved it. So now the question is, where do I trigger this code? Now this is the most important part. Shall I trigger it on all the pages? Shall I count my every page visit as conversion, which is not the case, which should never be the case. So in our case, we create a conversion tracking. In fact, we create a trigger, not the conversion tracking, for page visit. So I simply find page view over here. When the page URL contains thank you. Simple. So I simply type thank_you. So if you remember, our URL was having this value thank you. So I can simply create a conversion tracking via GTM as well. Thank you. And this is my third way of using or creating a conversion tracking. Now, if I already have it using Google Ads, there's no need to create double conversion. Otherwise, you will be having duplicate value. So I'm not gonna publish this conversion value. I can simply pause it. Now, the fourth and amazing way is to do it through Google Analytics. So what you can do, you can get into the Google Analytics account. and you already have a Google Analytics code on the website. So you can simply get into admin, then you can get into events. You have to create an event within Google Analytics, and then you have to convert that event into conversion. So that's how you can do it using Google Analytics as well. Now, once you have all these things set up, first and foremost, you try to check if your tool, if your Google Tag Assistant is tracking the conversion or not. If not, then you really have to think, what's wrong with it? How do you track the conversion? And in our case, it's not tracking the conversions yet. I mean, even though it's implemented, give me a second. So let me try to make a purchase, and then I will see if the tracking is working or not. So I click on buy it now. Then I click on, I choose my email ID, click on continue to payment, complete order, and I check if my conversion tracking is working or not. So I simply click over here, and here you can see Google Ads conversion tracking code is fired completely. And in this code, I am having the conversion label as well. Now this label is the unique value which actually provides or tracks the conversion. Now this setup had been through Google Ads directly, not through Analytics, not through GTM, not through any other way. So you can see now the conversions are happening absolutely fine, and Google account will be getting this data over here. However, there's one problem. Google Tag only shows you the conversions which are happening through the Google Ads. It does not show you the conversions which are happening when somebody comes from Facebook, or when somebody comes from SEO, when somebody comes from social media. That does not happen. So you may have to set up a separate conversion tracking in Google Analytics as well. So Google Analytics is an account which shows you conversions for all the traffic sources. However, Google only is going to show you the conversions for their own sources, for their own accounts, of course, for their own campaigns. Otherwise, it might happen that the campaign is driving 5 conversions, let's say, and you have the 50 conversions over here, and then you might get confused. So Google only shows the data for their own ad campaigns. Similarly, when you set up Facebook Pixel, Pixel also shows you, Facebook also shows you the conversions which are happening through their own campaigns. So all the advertisement accounts shows their internal conversion data. To look into all the conversion data, you always have to set up this conversion tracking in Google Analytics. So I hope this video really helps you to know how to set up the conversion. And then talking about what you do after setting up the conversion, you simply go through each and everything. You go through the campaigns, you go through the keywords, you go through the search terms, you check what exactly is triggering the conversion for you. You see why not conversions are happening. You see if conversions are happening from desktops or mobiles. You see if conversions are happening from males or females. You check which state or cities are driving the conversion, which gender is driving the conversion, which day is driving the conversion. And then you just go through this data, you really analyze the data, and then you optimize the campaign by bidding high or showing the ads on the days, on the areas, on the positions where the conversions are happening. If you find you have a keyword which is having so many good clicks, but yet it's not driving the conversions, then maybe you have to pause that keyword.